Good morning, No Finish Line Nation. It is July 3rd of 2017. It is the beginning of the weekend or beginning of weekend for some, I should say, with the holiday coming up tomorrow. Some of us have to go to work, which is including this guy right here. Tomorrow will be my day off, but had a good weekend so far, and we are kicking off the 4th of July festivities tomorrow in a great way. So to those of you that had Monday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday off, hats off to you, friends. You work a job that's giving you a nice, good kit and caboodle of great days off to spend with family, with friends, with everybody else. To those of you that had to work on Monday, like myself, it kind of gives a little bit of a break in between, right? So some might have had a little bit of some indulging on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday comes around and it gives us a time for us to be able to go and take a break from the festivities and then be back at it tomorrow on the 4th of July, where barbecues and fireworks and all kinds of great stuff will be happening. So to everyone, happy Independence Day weekend this weekend. I know yesterday or my last podcast that I recorded, I said I wasn't sure if I was going to put one out today, but I just felt that I needed to, based on some of the things that I had read with on Connect and on NFLN, and I want to kind of go through that a little bit this morning. So just reaching out to everybody, all of the great feedback that I've received so far about the podcast and the videos. As you can see right now, here's the video going on right now with the camera recording, and then the podcast microphone right next to it. And for those of you on the podcast and not looking at it on the video, you can see you can hear my smiling voice talking to you right now into the microphone on this Independence Day weekend. Okay, so the theme for today's Coffee Talk is forgiveness. Now, this is a pretty big word, right? We teach all of our kids when they're young to be able to forgive and forget, turn the other cheek. We've heard religious aspects of it saying if you can turn the other cheek, it's one of the ultimate things you can do. We've heard parents will tell their kids if you are pushed a certain direction to turn the cheek and be able to walk away from that situation is being a better person than somebody that wants to always fight back, or those kind of situations. So we've been taught this ever since we've been little, and forgiveness is something that usually deals with other people. So when something bad happens to you or somebody does you wrong, forgiveness is looking at that person and being able to take what they're doing and forgive them and move on and be able to be the better person or the better man or the better woman and be able to progress. So this is what it always has been consisted of. Well, in this journey, one of the things that I've learned as being successful, or things that we can really work on, is forgiving ourselves. Now, you wouldn't think that you are your own worst enemy at times, but forgiveness is so important in your own journey of really taking a look at some of the things that you might do that may impede your progress or may stop your journey or may railroad you. And forgiving yourself is one of the most important aspects of this journey. We talk about something more beyond the numbers on the scale. We talk about the behavioral things that we try to put into place for us to be successful. And forgiveness has to be clearly one of the most important things that we can do. What I noticed is yesterday when I was on Coffee Talk and on NFLN, when I was diving in and taking a look at it, I noticed a lot of people talking about how on Saturday I slid, I went way off the rails. I'm feeling so bad about myself. I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling self-conscious. All the work that I've been doing, I've ruined it all. All those different conversations that I saw being had about the weekend so far. And really, when you look at it, it's one day in time. It's one day in your entire journey. I've been doing this now, this time around, on this weight program that I've been working on and really trying to be effective at what I've been doing. I did it for about 1.75 years online, and now I'm into meetings at the Weight Watchers program. And I've been working hard at making sure that I can continue forward and doing the things that I need to do. One of the things that I've found over that time period is that back in the day when I would slide, or I would be somebody that wasn't necessarily where I needed to be, or I would go into a binge, what would happen is that I would face myself in the mirror after something like that would happen. And then the slide began. And then the departure began. And then all the things that I'd worked on over the last how many months or whatever were thrown out the window based on 1 day or 2 days of partying or 2 days of emotions that might have happened that I dove into a pie or some ice cream or different items that were triggers for me. And what I did was I wasn't able to forgive myself. I only leaned in on the fact that I just kept on going. It almost used it as a pass for me to be able to say, you just did something wrong. You've ruined all of your work. Your whole body of work is now done. You ruined it all. And why continue moving forward? Because you're just going to continue to do this to yourself. And oh, by the way, I really want to just enjoy my food today. I don't want to track my points. I don't want to count my calories. I don't want to take a look at what is coming in. I just want to enjoy myself. And I attest the two. I think to myself, if I gorge and I continue to move forward of eating really poorly and not make healthy choices, that's going to make me happier. Well, that's not the case. I don't feel happier at all whenever those things happen. As a matter of fact, I feel more guilty than I ever have before after I've gone through a moment where I continue to slide and continue to slide. How many people do you hear on the Weight Watchers program or even on any program that's out there, any of them? How many people do you hear, this is my third, my fourth, my fifth, my sixth time that I've been doing this? And why do you think that is? More often than not, it's because we don't forgive ourselves. We begin to be in this self-doubt, self-denial, self-deprecating, just really in a just bad situation that happens. We're in this space where we start feeling so guilty about the situation that's going on around us that we literally can't pick ourselves up off the floor to be able to push forward. Now, it's easier said than done. Oh, trust me. Forgiving others is a hard situation. Forgiving yourself is one of the hardest situations you can ever get in front of. Because guess what? When you look at yourself in the mirror, who's your number one critic? Who's the person that breaks you down? Who's the person that says, you're fat there, you don't look good there, this outfit looks horrible, I need a new haircut, I just don't really look all that great. I'm not feeling that great about myself. It's like bags under my eyes. I'm not feeling good. Or whatever. Who's your number one worst critic in the world? It's you. And if you're your number one worst critic, a lot of times your number one worst critic is one of the hardest people to have overcome that critique that they make and become a positive reinforcement for you. It's hard to do. It's not easy. And if anybody tells you that it's easy, they're wrong. Completely wrong. So think about this. As you're going through today, we talked about yesterday about mindfulness. We talked about what the meaning of mindfulness is and what the approach is and how you can be mindful and smart about the things that you do. The second part of that is let's just say you aren't as mindful as you would like to be and you eat a lot of stuff that you shouldn't eat, or go down that road of being in that normal phase of being around family and friends and ready to party and do the things that are necessary for you to do to have a good time. And what if you do that? Is it the end of the world? Should it ruin all of your body of work that you've done so far? If you've been doing this for a year and you're 60 some odd pounds down, or you're 80 pounds down, or you're 30 pounds, or you're 10 pounds down, Literally, think about that. Should that derail all of your hard work? I mean, my personal opinion is no, and it's an easy answer to say no, it shouldn't derail all of your hard work. But again, that's easier said than done, because when we go through those things, the mind starts playing games on us, and we start to think all of these bad things, or we start to derail ourselves over and over. So today and tomorrow, no matter what's going on Saturday and Sunday, today and tomorrow, if you're off all weekend, like I talked about earlier, those that are lucky and fortunate to be off for the 4 days, I want you to think about your decisions. I want you to be mindful still. I want you to make smart decisions. I want you to think about the things that you're doing. But here's the key. I also want you to forgive yourself if you make some mistakes, if you act inappropriately, if you do things that may not shed yourself in the right light, and then your own worst critic steps out. It's on this shoulder. Oh, I got the camera going. So on this shoulder over here is a little person that's on there. It's that self-conscious that's looking at you going, you probably shouldn't do that. And then when you go and do it, or if you have a moment where you do what that self-conscious thing tells you not to do, now you've got to be able to lean in on that person to sit them down and say, okay, now it's time to forgive. It's time to take a look at that and say, okay, you know what? It's time for me to do the right things and treat myself better and smile at myself a little bit more and be a little bit more warm and a little bit softer than the edge that I normally bring when I'm critical of myself and the things that I'm doing. Make sure you are conscious of that tomorrow and today, because a lot of things can be thrown at you over the next couple of days. You know, we had Saturday and Sunday. The 4 days overall can add some derailing situations that might occur. But today and tomorrow, as we get closer and closer to the 4th of July, it's summertime, it's barbecues, it's party time, it's pools, it's food, it's desserts, it's alcohol. It's all of them, all put together. So at the end of the day, what are you going to do to be mindful of the situation? What's your plan to be successful? If you're successful, are you going to celebrate and pat yourself on the back and say, great job? Or are you just going to move on and say, it's just another day? No, it's time to celebrate, because those are hard situations. If you don't, and you fall off the rails, are you going to forgive yourself? Plan for that. Mud shared something yesterday. It was a great post about how on Saturday he dove into some ice cream cake and he started feeling guilty about it. And then he had a video yesterday and he talked about, how do I take this and not feel all that bad about myself and keep moving on and keep plugging and keep working, keep grinding, because he feels he's worth it. You have to feel you're worth the work and the energy to be able to do so. And forgiveness is part of that work and energy that you need to do. So make it a plan. Think about that today, okay? When you get up, you're grabbing your coffee, you're kicking off your day, whether you're going to work or you're staying home, you're with family, you're with friends, or anything like that. Have a plan. If the plan goes off the rails, it's okay. Forgive yourself, move on, and learn. And then take notes. I always tell you guys, right? I tell you guys what I do. What works for me is that I take notes on how I'm feeling and how I'm being able to address that. Because the next holiday that comes around, there's going to be more holidays that come around all the time. And guess what? How are you going to attack the next one that comes around in a different manner to be able to help you be successful? Learn from what you're doing. I posted on the Connect this morning on the Coffee Talk. It literally said, learn from your situation and grow from it. Forgive yourself and move on. Though that's a theme for today. So I hope that that's helpful to you, because I know for me it is helpful, because I need to do that every once in a while. My wife always says I beat myself up a lot of times on things that I do that I really shouldn't be so hard on myself for. I should celebrate in the fact that I'm a good dad, and I'm a faithful husband, and I'm a loving person, and a good brother, and a good son, and a good person that adds to society and volunteers and does things to be able to help. But I don't park there a lot of times. I'm my own worst critic. So I share that from my own perspective, because I know when I work on that and I really lean in on that piece is when I feel the most successful that I've ever been. So everyone have a safe 4th of July. I'm probably not going to record one tomorrow, a podcast or a video, because I will be with family and we'll be out at a parade tomorrow morning at our local, at our neighborhood here. But have a very safe and amazing 4th of July, Independence Day. Be safe with family. If you're lighting off fireworks, be extra safe. If you're working, be safe there too. And if you're driving, be safe on the roads and keep your eyes open, because it's party time for a lot of people on the 4th of July weekend. And although we can't really help when a person gets behind the wheel when they've had too much to drink or partying too much, keep those extra eyes on the road and really both hands on the wheel to be able to respond to any kind of situation that might be out there. Okay? Have a great Monday and Tuesday. Be mindful, be safe, and forgive yourself if things don't go the way you want them to go, because you're the most important part of this journey. You're all you got. We have family, we have friends, we have everything, but you're all you got. And your investment in yourself is more important than anything, because then you can invest in others. So you got to invest in yourself and forgive yourself for some things that might happen or things that you might do. Okay? Have an amazing day, and we'll talk later. Thanks.